So this is a first. I'm actually kind of impressed that this article even exists. This is from Screen Rant, of all places. Look at the headline. Captain Marvel 2 can learn from Iron Man and Thor to fix its biggest mistakes. Wow. So here's what's interesting about this. With these media sites, they seem to think, and I've done a video on this, that just putting, these stories together about how Captain Marvel gets a new power. Fans are going to be blown away by Captain Marvel's new power boost. Literally, I did a video, had like 30 headlines about Captain Marvel's new weapon, Captain Marvel's new power, Captain Marvel gets a boost, Captain Marvel's more dangerous. This isn't what people want in a character. People want a character that's interesting and that they can relate to and stuff like that. Now, Marvel Comics in general has this problem. They've been lost in their way for years. Spider-Man's a really good example of this because they've made so many new Spider characters, like Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, Silk, all these characters with Spider-based powers, and they fail to realize it's not the Spider powers that makes Spider-Man special. It's Peter Parker. You can't just make another Peter Parker, but they don't seem to understand that. It's the problem with the new creators. They just don't get it. But this article, I was shocked because they admit, she's overpowered for one, but that can still work. They break it down to her humanity, which I was like, wow, this is the first time I've seen them admit that, hey, the character's kind of boring. No one really likes her. She's stiff, and that goes to Brie Larson's performance. But even in the comics, she's not very likable. They were desperate to make this character popular, just like they're desperate to make her popular in the movies, and nobody really likes her. Other characters don't seem to have this problem. Like, I've been playing the Marvel's Avengers game, and I gotta admit, like, Kamala Khan is actually more likable in that game than she's ever been in the comics. I'm not saying the character is a discount Mr. Fantastic, but they did a better job with her in that game than they have in the comics for sure. I've never seen a good Carol Danvers anywhere. The character just sucks. She thinks that she's awesome. They have her running around giving orders to everybody. She has no, even in the comics, she has no charisma. But the problem with the movie, you can take a character that no one's heard of and usually make them work in the movies because you can do a lot more. And in the movies, you didn't get a good performance. Brie Larson's performance was very flat. She never smiles. All the other characters smile at least once or twice. She never smiles. She never has any personality. It's a very terrible performance. And the way that she was in Endgame tells me that performance is going to carry on. It's going to be a wooden, stiff Carol Danvers. But at least Screen Rant tries to say that, maybe we can fix her, and it's just rare to see an article talk about her key issues because usually she's perfect. What? You don't think she's perfect? Well, you're an istophobe. Well, you don't like Captain Marvel. What's your problem? You don't like women? That's usually how this goes. But they talk about in here that, hey, first off, she's kind of overpowered. She just comes in. She's invulnerable. This makes a character hard to write. And that maybe one of the ways that she can do this is by taking lessons from both Iron Man and Thor, powerful characters who had to answer for the actions taken in their past. That's not a bad idea. I was kind of surprised that, first off, she's got to learn from a man, two men, actually. One of the points I think they're trying to make here is people like these two characters. People like Tony Stark. People like Thor. But that also is, you can also thank their actors for that. Robert Downey Jr. did a phenomenal job, and Chris Hemsworth does a phenomenal job. Brie Larson does a terrible job. She was a terrible pick for this role, and I don't know how you get around that. You could always recast her with Monica Rambeau, but they're not going to do that. Get a better actress. That might help. That might help. But I think that is something you could try to do, is maybe have her answer for some problems. Like, Remember in the first movie, she steals that guy's motorcycle. Like, she just does a lot of unlikable stuff. And they talk about her humanity in here. And they say, well, that's one of the problems with Superman. And I don't agree with that necessarily. Like, here's one thing. Like, I never saw anybody... So, Man of Steel, right? Not a perfect movie, but Henry Cavill's performance is great in it. He did a great job in that movie. It's the material he had. So here's what's funny about this. So they write this whole article talking about how, you know, you can fix her by maybe having her answer for crimes that she did. So she turned on the Kree to work with the Skrulls. Maybe have her go answer for that. I don't know. That's not a terrible idea. Probably, in my opinion, is the actress. But it's worth a shot. I mean, why not? You got to try to work on the character and get her to be a little bit more relatable to people. I don't know how they do that. But what's funny is this article exists now. So you go to Twitter and you look at some of the reactions where they posted it. It's, of course, attacked immediately. Some people are saying, okay, the obvious, her performance, right? But you look at this one. Okay, no, her biggest issue is the stiff performance from the actress. I never feel like the character is in any struggle that I can relate with. Because her lack of emoting during scenes where she should be emoting prevents me from feeling whatever the film wants me to feel for her. And then you've got someone coming, Brie is an effing Oscar winner. She didn't give a stiff performance. Carol was brainwashed. Obviously, she didn't show emotions most of the time, but you clearly didn't watch the movie because she did show emotions when she got to marry Monica. No, she never showed. She barely ever changed her face. And why didn't she have any emotions in Endgame? She just said what? Hey, Peter Parker. That's about it. She changed the tone of her voice one time, and it's like that. This whole thread, like. It's the what I call it is the Brie Larson Defense Force. Anytime, and when I post this video on Twitter, they'll come out and they'll start posting on that one too. It's these people that just literally search around all day for anybody that posts about Brie Larson or Captain Marvel. They'll immediately run in, and they will engage with everybody and just simp all day, sometimes for days. It's really kind of crazy. So here was the hottest hot take. Take a look at this one. Tony Stark murdered multiple people in Iron Man 3 and no one said a word. Hawkeye was basically a racist serial killer in Endgame. But yeah, let's clutch pearls over Captain Marvel stealing some dude's bike. Fun fact, they never mentioned that bike getting stolen in that article, which tells me that this person didn't even read it. So got one more. The mental gymnastics the writers like this do when the power fantasy doesn't involve straight white males is annoying. It took how many films before the Avengers were held accountable for their death and destruction that they leave in their wake? I lost count. It's all over it. It's like you can't have any opinion about Captain Marvel other than she's awesome, or these people are going to come out and go crazy. I'm still saying it. I can't wait for Captain Marvel 2 to come out. That box office is not going to be anywhere near the level the first one was, because you're not going to put it in between Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back this time. Like you're not doing that this time. And I use that analogy because I consider Infinity War and Endgame kind of the Empire and Jedi of this current generation. So imagine sliding in some spin-off Star Wars movie in between those two movies. Imagine what that movie would have done. Could have been a movie about, you could have taken the holiday special and just rebranded it a little bit. Or hell, you could have just made it, filmed that and put it in between those. It would have made a ton of money for the time. So that's really it. I find this funny. First off, I can't believe they wrote this article, because it admits that she has problems. I don't think I've ever seen an article like this. And then, you know, watching the salt and the tears from the reactions of it are always funny as well. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Can Captain Marvel 2 be fixed and salvaged? You let me know. Also, if you would, please like, share the video. Very important. Make sure you still subscribe. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.